Hey everybody, this is hashtag homeless day number 19. Wow. Time is just, everything is just a blur right now, and I got hit with a pretty low blow at the end of the day yesterday. And so we'll start off the video talking about that, and it's just going to lead into, I think, a topic that I can go on 10 to 15 minutes about, and then we'll call it a day. I was supposed to start a new job today, a general labor job at a local store. I was given uniforms and everything, and I disclosed my criminal background, that I had just gotten out of federal prison. I told them what it was all about. I shared all that information during the initial job interview, and I was hired anyway. Filled out all the paperwork. Went through all the motions. The manager even called his people in the HR department of the larger company that I'd be working for, and they even said it would be okay to hire me based on the disclosure and all of that. Well, yesterday, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a phone call, and I'm informed that due to the criminal background check and the criminal record, that they will not be hiring me, that they've rescinded the offer, and that I'm not to start working there today. And in fact, I am right back to not having a job. But a little bit worse off, because I did not stop looking for a job, and in fact, I went on 2 interviews yesterday, even though I was supposed to be starting a job today. So I did not quit completely looking for a job, but I let up my guard. I let my guard down, is what I should say. You know, I thought I was on the way to solving the problem of being homeless and finding a way to put a roof over my head, and that's done now. No job. And I'm left at the end of the day feeling like, you know, I'm not even going to be able to get a minimum wage job because of my situation. And that's pretty depressing. But the moral of the story for today, and for people out there who are looking for a job, you might already have a job. You know, you don't need a criminal record to take this advice. You don't need to be homeless. I've been through this before. This would not be the first time that I've had a job offer pulled away at the last minute, literally the day before I was supposed to start. And this has happened to other people I know, professionals in a professional career. You never really know what's going to happen out there. It is a cutthroat world. A lot of vicious, mean people are out there, and they will pull the rug out from under you when you least expect it. I'll talk about my last experience with that, and I'll talk about some of the experiences I've seen other people go through. In my experience, I was fired from a company that I worked for about 6 months. It was a cutthroat tech company, and this would be a half an hour long story if I were to tell the whole story. But I was fired the day after my son was born because I went to the hospital to be there for his birth and didn't go. And I called in to work. It's not that I just didn't show up. This was a professional job. I was a software user interface engineer for this company. And I called in to say, look, my son is being born today. I'm going to the hospital to be there for the birth of my son. And I got a weird email that night saying, hey, can you meet me at the coffee shop tomorrow morning? Don't come into the office. We have to talk about some things. And this company kicked me to the curb for having a child and for going to the hospital for the birth of a child. And they contested my unemployment claim. They tried to keep me from collecting unemployment. Now, when we went to court for that, I won, because I had all kinds of accolades and positive emails from my boss and from the CEO of the company praising my work. And then all of a sudden, the day after I go to the hospital for the birth of my son, I'm fired. So they did not get away with that in terms of keeping me from collecting unemployment. But I was unemployed, and so I had a job lined up. It was for a local ad agency, a small ad agency in Pittsburgh, and I was supposed to show up to my first day on the job dressed in a suit at 6 o'clock in the morning to have a meeting with some people, because I was supposed to go directly to a client meeting with a bunch of people from the agency. And this was supposed to be my first day of the job. And I was in an ultimate frisbee league at the time, and so I had a game the night before this start date took place. And after the game, it's about 8 o'clock, there's a voicemail on my phone, and I check it from the soccer fields where we're playing our game. And at 8 o'clock at night, the night before I'm supposed to start this job, there's a message on my voicemail saying, don't bother showing up at work tomorrow. The agency ended up hiring another candidate for the job, and they decided, thank you for your time and all of that, but they're going to go with somebody else, like a friend of a friend kind of a thing. I don't know, but it was kind of like one of those deals. I was already locked in and had the paperwork signed, the tax forms signed, all of the legal documentation signed to start this job. And at 8 o'clock the night before I was supposed to go in my first day, I'm getting a voicemail saying, don't bother, they hired somebody else. Thank you for your time, but we decided to go elsewhere. And what a low blow that was at the time. Now, in hindsight, a couple of years down the road, I had to do work with this agency because I was working for another company in Pittsburgh, and this other company contracted work to this ad agency. And so I got to meet and interact with a lot of people that worked there. And as you would expect from the experience that I had with this place, they treated their employees really badly. And I dodged a bullet by not getting that job. In hindsight, sometimes God will do things like that to prevent you from going through misery. Now, keep in mind, I just got fired from a job for going to the hospital for the birth of my son, and that's something that I still get bitter about to this day, and that was in 2009. So, that experience tainted my attitude and the way that I approached things in my career ever since. We can get into that in a minute. But I feel like the good Lord intervened and saved me from going to another company that would have done something equally as bad to me. And when all was said and done, I went through a little bit of aches and pains during that period, but I found a good stable job and a good group of people to work with when it all came down to it. And that job fell into my lap just in time. So, at the end of the day, I made out better than I would have had I started that job at 6 in the morning on the day that I was supposed to. As far as friends I've seen, I know more than one person who put in a 2-week notice at their current job to go start a new job with a new company, only to find out a day or two before starting the job, the company changed their mind. So now these people, they put in a 2-week notice at their job. Their company, their job is over. They've quit. They can't come crawling back to the company and saying, oh, never mind, I take that back. I don't quit after all. It doesn't work that way. Once you've made it publicly known that you're leaving the company and that you quit, the company's not going to take you back. They know that you wanted to leave. They know that you actively went on job interviews and that you actively tried to leave the company. And if they take you back after you come crawling back because the new opportunity didn't work out, they know that you're just going to be looking for a new job, and it's only going to be a matter of time before you're putting in your 2-week notice again. So this has happened to more than one person I know. You put in your 2-week notice, you're just about to start your new job, and then the new company says, oh, never mind. One reason or another, they take back the offer. And I've seen this happen more than once. And now this person or these people, they've quit their job. They don't have the new job anymore. Now they're unemployed. Unemployed due to no fault of their own, mainly unemployed because they went to try and work for a cutthroat company that pulled the rug out from under them and left them out in the streets cold. Very despicable, very unethical situations. But when you're in that situation, if that happens to you, you're not going to be able to collect unemployment because the unemployment office is going to say you voluntarily left your last job. And when you voluntarily leave a job, you forfeit your right to collect unemployment. So I've seen people put in desperate situations because of this cutthroat business culture where companies are more than willing to do that. These companies, they expect you to give them a 2-week notice when you leave and when you find a new job or when you're quitting. But I guarantee you, they're not going to give you a 2-week notice when they want to get rid of you. You're not even going to get a 2-minute notice. You're going to get called into someone's office. You're going to get called into a conference room, or a security guard is going to show up at your desk, and you're going to be escorted out of the building with no warning whatsoever. There may be signs. There may be telltale signs going around the office that they're making cuts, that maybe not just your job is in jeopardy, but other jobs are in jeopardy as well. And that might prompt you to take action, to look for something new, or to kind of, if you feel like you're in a race and you're basically trying to find a new job before they lay you off, that's happened before. I've seen that. I've been in that situation before. When a company starts going downhill, you got, they call it getting on the lifeboat. There's only so many lifeboats on the Titanic, and they don't got room for everybody. And so everybody's fleeing for the lifeboats, and, it's a race. It's a race to not sink to the bottom. But, that's a real situation that people run into, and you just have to protect yourself and watch your back and always be ready for anything in a cutthroat business culture of America. You never know when the rug is going to get ripped out from under you. Do the best that you can to have some money set aside. Try and set aside a month's worth of income to just in case money. That might save you when the rug gets ripped out from under you and you've got to scramble to find a new job. Anything that you can do. Always have your resume up to date. Always be ready to jump at a moment's notice if an opportunity falls into your lap, or if you need to start looking for new opportunities. Maintain your professional networks as much as you possibly can. Keep in touch with the people that you use as references. Anytime that people have helped you in the past when it comes to networking and finding work, make sure you keep in touch with these people and just keep that network going, because those are the things that are going to save you if something, if tragedy strikes. So I don't have a job. I had 2 job interviews yesterday. One of them went smashingly well, and it was a 6-figure professional job. This is like a 4-stage process. There's going to be at least 3 more interviews before I could even expect to get an offer. And then if this company puts an offer on the table, I'm going to have to dance around the fact that I have a criminal record, that they're probably going to do a background check. And so I could get all the way to the finish line with this opportunity only to have the door slammed in my face right before I'm supposed to start, like I did today. This could happen. This can happen in a minimum wage job. This can happen in a professional job or anything in between. I do not count a job as being real. And this goes back before I got arrested. I will never consider a job to be real until I not only begin the job and start on my first day and start actually working for the company, but not until the first paycheck hits my bank account and the money is in the bank and bona fide and real. That is the moment in time where I sit back and take a deep breath and say, okay, now this is real. Up until that moment, when I actually get paid my first paycheck at any new job, the job is not real. I'll do my best to show up, to do the best I can, to put my best foot forward and jump in and try to swim and do a good job and do the job that I was hired to do. But at the end of the day, I do not count that as a win in the books until the paycheck is in the bank. It's like, it's like a soccer match. The 90 minutes are up, but there's stoppage time. You don't stop playing the game when the clock hits 90 minutes. You really don't know when that ref is going to blow the whistle and say that the game is over. So you might have another 8 to 10 minutes to play in a game. And that 8 to 10 minutes can be the difference between you winning and losing that game if you let up your guard and sit back and say, we've got this. The score is 1-0 and we're at 90 minutes. The game's going to be over. If you let your guard down for that last minute of stoppage time, you might end up losing the game over it. And that's kind of the same approach that you have to take when you're out there trying to get a job. So I think that's a good update for today. I'm stressed out. I'm tired. I am defeated today. I'm right back to where I was 18 days ago when I became homeless and didn't have a job. The only thing that I have are some more irons in the fire. I had this weird virtual job interview where I had to record video to answer some pre-formatted questions for a local big box store. And so the process with that store is moving forward. I might be able to get a job there. It would be close to minimum wage, possibly 40 hours a week. I don't know. After I get off the video with you guys, I'm going back to the library. I'm going to fill out more online job applications for general labor jobs. I'm going to spend about 3 hours on that today, get as much done as I can. I can do a lot more in 3 hours sitting in front of a computer applying for jobs than I can pounding the pavement on foot. If I have any reasons to go to the neighborhoods where businesses are located that are hiring, I will go into businesses on foot and talk to people in person. You never know what you can shake out by talking to somebody in person and walking in off the street that you would never be able to accomplish online. So, do both. But right now I have to complete a certain number of searches and contacts, and because I've got people riding me to document everything that I'm doing, and I need to be able to show a very detailed output of what I'm putting into this job search. Had I started a new job today, I wouldn't have had to worry about that, but because that job offer got pulled at the last minute, now I have to sit down and go back to, doing what I'm supposed to do anyway, but on top of doing what I'm supposed to do, I have to document everything, and I've got to report to 4 or 5 different people and show them everything that I'm doing and talk about everything that I'm doing. And I end up spending another 2, 3, 4 hours a week just dealing with the busy work involved with keeping these people happy, to proving to them that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's 3 to 4 hours a week I could spend, being productive or looking for a job. So that, that's irritating to say the least, but, that's part of what goes into some of the things I signed up for to try and help me through this dark time. People want to know that if they're helping you, that you're not just freeloading and sitting back and not doing what you're supposed to do on your end of the bargain. So, I understand it, and I'm not really complaining about that. It's just, it's so difficult to deal with all of this on top of not having a home. It is everything that, there's different forms of homelessness for different people, but it's absolutely nothing but nerve-wracking. The simplest problems that you can face become a nightmare. Basic things like having clean clothes and being able to take showers regularly, and just different things that you would just take for granted in your life become major problems when you're in this situation. Things I wouldn't have even thought of as being problematic pop up every day. And I think, wow, there's a new problem I never even thought of because that's just something I always took for granted. So I'm just going to leave it at there for today, and until tomorrow, have a good one, everybody.